Well, I'll be the first to tell you. It's officially Hump Day.
Yes,
it is Wednesday, right?
It is
It's a
Wednesday.
good thing.
Yes.
And the chance of torrential downpours is diminishing. Thank goodness, though. The chance of showers will be with us until September. Y'all,
That's right.
that's the way it is. How's that for a long-range forecast? Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
I'm Lee Barrows.
And welcome to Live and Local Real Talk, where we are going to be awake all morning long because we're not woke and I'm tired.
Me too.
I've been fighting. Do you guys ever watch, I know y'all do, Jeff Dunham?
I love
Or
him.
Jeff Dunham.
Yes,
Jeff Dunham.
I call him Dunham.
His name is Dunham, but, you
Right.
know, if they got other people in the audience, that little crazy little dude with a carrot top, he calls him Dunham.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all
I
watch
love
it.
Jeff Dunham.
I love it too. But anyway, today I'm Walter for a while. I might be Ahmed.
I love Ahmed.
I will
He's
kill
hilarious.
you. I will kill you.
He's so
So
funny.
anyway, whatever. It's gonna be one of them there mornings here, y'all. I got lots going on. The first thing I got going on, a computer. I'm gonna put a plea out there this morning. Save me. Save this room. Save this block. Come tell me what I'm doing wrong on this one stupid little computer. But anyway, we'll go into that later, maybe. Let me be the first to tell you that there are no tropical systems in the hot Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of America, or the Caribbean to discuss. Not all news that we talk about is bad, right?
It's nice to hear that first thing this morning. No tropical
Yep.
entities of
I
any
came
type.
close this morning because you know how it is on the computer over yonder, the one that's
Right.
got the amateur radio stuff on it. Sometimes I just, during that season of the year from June until whenever, I quite often will leave punched up there the National Hurricane Center, the track charts. And for first thing that Kelly does in the morning during that period of
Look
time,
for
she
the
looks over there and she
X's.
says,
Mm-hmm.
"What's all that red stuff? What's that red dot there? What's
I do.
What's that red X? What's going on?"
I do.
So one of these mornings, I'm going to get a little piece of tape and
I
we'll
know.
cut it and make a little
Yeah,
X out of it.
I can tell the difference, Rayford.
Not from here, you won't.
Bet.
You
Okay.
thought something the other day was a red X. I forgot what it
It
was.
was a red X, but it was not that red X. Yeah, it was a red X.
Anyway, we'll be fine. So numbers for those of you who want to have any knowledge, if you care. In the last 48 hours, ending last night at midnight, 48 hours that ended last night at midnight. You remember all that rain and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Right here at the studio, we recorded a tad over 4 inches of rain at the Albert J. Ellis Airport near Richlands. 5.02 inches fell. Don't get surprised if your neighbors or your friends tell you that they recorded more than 5 inches during the 2 days. It happens when there are scattered showers. The rain dumping clouds were all over the place this week. And you may not have been where they happened to leave their biggest amounts of rainfall yourself, or you may have been in the middle of it. One of my friends yesterday, he's one of the ham radio guys. He had over 5
Right.
inches, 6 point something
I
inches.
had 4.1 yesterday.
Okay.
The night
That was
before,
just yesterday.
I had 3.6. So that's almost 8 inches
Okay.
of rain in 2 days.
He had over 7 inches at his
Yes.
place. So, and he lived. So
Mhm.
who is
I
that?
can honestly pocket the last couple
Uh-oh.
I was
days.
getting a call.
Oh,
What would you think of Mr. Lee's comment?
Oh, okay. You know, we're on the air, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's 7:05.
Oh.
Rayford's over here answering.
Well, I'm talking about the guy that has
So-
that Chinese restaurant in Newburgh.
I know. I heard what he had to say. He was talking about some critters and what was on the
I
menu
don't
today.
know what. All right, Lee, let's talk about this.
Okay.
You like that video?
I'll call you later on.
Okay.
I would.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Bye.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I send Lee crazy videos. And
She sent me a video, and I didn't see it to this morning, and I told
Lee
her, I
wants to go
said,
fight now. Let's go.
You ready to fight?
it was
Yeah.
one of a younger woman talking about how she beat up a 70-year-old who deserved it. And she's like, well, that 70-year-old has had 70 years to learn how to fight. So
This should be. I didn't know there was an age limit to fight somebody.
I was like, girl, we need to saddle up and go find this woman.
Well, sometime, girl, you might pick on a 70-year-old that is going to leave you lying down on the floor, and you're going to look up at the stars and say, what the Sam Hill was that?
I agree with that. We've seen it.
I'm going to tell you what. Have you ever met this guy called Rowdy Yates? You
I know who that is.
Who is he?
Rowdy
Rowdy Yates?
He's what
From the
was he? Was he
from
a
the 1960s. No, Rowdy Yates was a guy who was better known as Clint Eastwood.
I didn't know that. I know the name.
Rowdy Yates
That was Clint Eastwood?
That was Clint Eastwood. He was a driver, one of those cattle drivers on that series called All Right. Go ahead and pick on him. And I'm sorry. Hope your insurance is paid up.
That's like my brother. He was always after me to learn Taekwondo because he's the instructor. And he's a black belt, 7-time removed. I don't know. I don't understand all that. And I told him I didn't need Taekwondo to protect myself. And he said, why? I said, I have 357.
I was going to say, I learned how to shoot. So, yeah.
Well,
need all that other stuff. It's just
we
way
don't
too much work.
It's
You have to work in the sweat.
I'm not going to chase you. I'm probably not going to fight you. I'm going to put you down.
Yeah. My dad taught me early, like, no.
And that's,
So
there's
extra work.
two little devices leaning against the wall over there. One of
Yeah.
them is something that I carried
Mhm.
and a little ring holder on the belt. And that's about 2 feet long.
Yes.
It's a baton.
I have several
y'all.
of those
Okay.
left.
It's a baton. That baton does not break. It does not bend. It does not warp. It hurts. The other thing is a pickaxe handle, courtesy of retired Jacksonville Police Chief Mike Gennaro. He gave that to me on one day. He came back out here to get that to me, autographed by the one and the only Buford Pusser. Now, y'all want to understand something, go look up Buford Pusser. Got it? And you will understand.
Love
First, I met
Walking
the
down.
real Buford Pusser, not the actor who played him. When the movie was coming out and it was making the rounds, I was doing DJ work, and he came through Jacksonville. Okay, because he had been a Marine first place, so he came through Jacksonville, and somebody brought him. Whoever knew these things brought him to the station. I interviewed him. The guy had more scars on him than if you run through if a bull chases you through a briar patch, you're going to have injuries, right? He had more scars all over his arms and everywhere else. And when I looked at him, I said, God, yes. Then I saw the movie and I understood.
Right.
Because he paid the price, but he inflicted, somebody else paid a lot of prices too. But that's kind of like the kind of people you don't really want to mess with, and you don't know who they are until it's too late. So, woman, I'm not going to call her a lady because she obviously ain't, or whatever video you're talking about. Bring it on.
I was ready to fight.
Just bring it on.
saw
I'm
that.
not going to fight.
Kelly, come on, let's load up. Let's go.
Yeah.
We're going to show her what 2 ladies with our combination of
Well, you
ages,
need 2
probably
ladies.
over a century, and we're going to show her what a century can do.
That's right.
We've had a century to learn.
I can do most of that all by myself.
Well, Leslie, you're really going to like this. Lee and I have found ride on scooters, animal scooters, and they're less than $5,000.
Can I borrow some money? I got a roof to be repaired.
I know.
And they light up too.
Oh, yeah.
They would look really cool in the Richlands parade.
I'm telling you. Lee and I are going to get there. Y'all going to see us tooling down Western Boulevard on the sidewalk on these things.
I'm going to
So
do the
I
hand
know.
signal for timeout. What in the Sam Hill is an animal air scooter?
Okay, hold
You
on.
got-
They're
I want you to-
scooters.
This is radio. Describe it to me.
They're scooters, but
Okay, it's like
What do you
a
mean,
like a
scooter?
motorcycle scooter, like
Like a motorcycle?
no,
it's
like
a scooter, like
like an adult, like somebody that has difficulty walking, so they would ride a motorized scooter to get like like something a senior citizen would ride.
Okay, the scooters that I knew about were
Not those kind.
pre-World War II scooters,
No,
and they
no,
were like
no.
little
These-
motorcycles, kind of like a moped.
these
Kind of
are,
like a moped. Let's go with that.
It's sort of like a moped, yeah, but these are made to look like animals. They're built and they have
Why?
the heads and the sides because they're cool.
Because
And
it
they
costs
light
more
up.
money.
because they're awesome. Hold
Costs
on.
more money. Does it do anything more than just look like an animal?
It's cool.
Get a costume. Dress up.
No, we can free ride.
Heck yeah!
Mm-mm.
Look, those men ride those. Well, we still got to get our adult big wheels.
Yes,
Big wheels.
yes, we're definitely getting the big wheels.
Oh my God! I found a wolf one too. Look right.
Yeah.
Oh, Lee, these aren't as fluffy, but they look
Oh.
menacing.
Okay, in other news today,
That's what it is.
Because
You can't admit that's awesome, Rayford. You have to say it is.
we found there's some that are like unicorn.
furry.
if you
It's
want to
unicorn,
ride
one
through
has a
rich-
panda.
you want to ride through rich lands where there are a lot of very fine people over there who hunt
We're talking about during the Christmas parade.
at
Yeah.
nighttime.
They will love us.
Yeah,
They're
they
lucky
will.
they don't shoot Rudolph for dinner. Okay.
It's Christmas.
Y'all are going to see us going down west on
Oh, Kelly and I
scooters.
have it, and then
We have
after
a
we do
plan.
all that, we're getting our jetpacks.
I will get in a jetpack. I'm going to go right over Western.
Yep.
I'll be
You
stopping
know
traffic.
they're ospreys, and I don't mean the birds. I mean those
I'm
things.
not going to
with
go
big
that
wings.
high.
You don't know how. You keep telling me they fly at the top of your roof.
I know.
We're going to be
they just feel like they are.
SpaceX 2.0.
That's right. Oh, we can get
Hey,
uniforms.
Chris,
Get little space uniforms.
Good morning, Rayford.
do you know anything about computers?
Yeah.
Come on down. I'll see you at 9.
I know you got it. Well, I've got to go.
Just say no.
So take Kathy to a doctor, but I do know, computers, which is really weird. You turn them on to turn them off. You get windows, but they don't have blinds, and but if you have about the hardware, yeah, we'll come over. I'll come over and we'll tear it apart, Rayford. We'll get it going.
I've already torn it apart. I'm looking for somebody to fix the problems.
I'll come over.
We'll chat this morning.
Yeah. Okay.
What's on your mind? That's because I'm feeling. You ever watch Jeff Dunham, the ventriloquist?
Oh, love.
Thank you. Me
love
too.
Jeff Dunham.
I'm Walter today, so watch out.
You're Walter. Walter's really a very nice guy for being
You've been drinking the Kool-Aid, right?
Walter's very crotchety.
No.
Walter is mean.
I kill you.
That's
Ahmed.
Ahmed. I
He's the
kill
best
you.
one. Love him.
I know. Ahmed, yeah. Actually, I
Yes.
have all the Jeff Dunham dolls, all the characters.
No
Some
way.
of them.
Oh, well,
I
hey,
have 'em.
total. You play with dolls?
You leave him alone. Go ahead and you play with those dolls, Chris.
Well, that's what they
And
say about
they
him, about Jeff.
These are the talking ones, and I got to tell you, Walter, he actually sometimes he goes close to overboard.
Oh,
put it
no,
this way.
he's jumped in deep water many times.
Yeah. I made a mistake of giving one to our priest, and then I went, that was not a good move, Chris. Not a good.
You educated the priest, I can tell you that.
Yeah. So, what a great ventriloquist and entertainer, Jeff.
He is a
Dunham.
wonderful
He is.
entertainer. Yeah.
He really is. But anyway, so I wanted to talk to our group today,
Yes.
including you folks, because you're part of the group. Wreaths honor our fallen veterans. Just give an update to kind of where we're at on this May, whatever day it is.
Yeah, the
May Day,
14th or 15th or 19th, something like
It's
that.
the 14th.
somewhere around there. So the total wreath count right now for both cemeteries totals 1,636.
Really?
And we need about 8,500. But so we're doing pretty well. And our group, your group, my group, our group has already gotten 814
Yay.
to date. So
Well, that's over 100 for this past month then.
yes. So
Okay, guys.
we're,
We got some more to do now. We're gonna have to increase that average by a bunch because December is coming. Y'all don't know it yet because it's hot, but December is going to be here before you know it. And we got to get her done.
Get her done. And one of the things that people have been asking me is why are we doing it so soon? And the reason is just what you just said. It's just around the corner, and December 1st is the cutoff.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't want to wait to the last minute to find out that we are short.
Nope.
Again, wreaths.
Nope.
So to the listeners who last year donated, you're going to get a reminder letter from us or a reminder card thanking you for last year and just seeing if you're be interested in this year. It's just such, I mean, you three know what a wonderful program it is, remembering our veterans. And
there's a one little quick thing here. Double down.
Yeah.
So instead of just doing what you think double down means, whatever you did last year, double it this year. We'll get her done. You double what we gave last year, which I will guarantee you that I will at least double what I did last year, and then we will get her done if everybody else will do the same thing. It will happen.
And for the many motorcycle riders that listen to the program, and Lee, thank you, because I'm going to take you up on your offer last night of coming on the show and talking about it.
Okay.
We we have a motorcycle ride coming up on May 31st. That was a big fundraiser. We're going to start at New River Harley Davidson, and the first 50 riders are going to get a very special commemorative pin that is only available through our group.
Good.
And of course, you folks are going to get one because you're part of the team, but it's very special. No one else can get this pin, and so we encourage them to contact either myself, Kathy, or New River Harley Davidson. Sign up for the bike run. Have a good, nice little bike run. We're going to have hot dogs afterwards, and vendors, if they want to set up, they can set up out there and sell their stuff.
Oh, that's good. That's a good idea. Huh.
Yeah, and
that day is 31 March or 31 May.
Yep, no, that's 31 May.
Okay, all right. Maybe we can.
Yeah, we'd love to have you folks out there.
Yeah.
I don't know about the scooters.
The scooters.
Maybe you can ride your scooters.
Hey, I'm all about it.
Or just take the money that you would spend for those scooters and go give it to Wreaths Across America. Done.
We can do both.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
It's not like we don't donate.
I know
Lee
that.
and I donate.
We still have to we still have to eat and have the necessities of life, right?
And animal scooter is a necessity.
Cookies is one of the. Hey, there you go. You know what? Let's see what we can think of here to do. I don't think I could go sell it because the health department will get involved. And you know what? I just don't want them. But a pot of soup that would be hanging around, a pot of biscuits that was hanging around. Somebody wanted it $5. Everybody until this done that donates for 2 wreaths could get a cup. I don't know. What thing? Let's think about it. Award-winning.
There's a lot.
Award-winning.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of things we've got coming up, and we're open to any ideas that anybody has. Y'all are very bright young people, and between the three of you, and we've gotten another two ladies, one from Carolina Beach and one from Hampstead, have offered to join.
Oh, good.
Our group, and
good.
So we're spreading out to get as much help as we can, but we know our number one supporters, not besides our citizens, is Live and Local Real Talk.
We're right there for you. So we're full speed ahead. Okay, well, let's put our heads together and see what we can do. Something really, really, really special for these folks.
All right, so we'll get that computer fixed.
I know you will. Bring your hammer.
Okay. Well, y'all have a blessed day.
You too.
You, Chris Marks.
Thanks.
Let's talk about what is going to be out there on the high seas today. Less than yesterday. Offshore out to 20 nautical miles, winds out of the southwest, 5 to 10 knots. That's nice. That's a good breeze. 3 to 5 footers still up there, but they're 7 seconds apart. Sounds and rivers, a light chop, and chance of showers is continuing. As I said, it's not September yet. Thursday, southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, east 3 to 40 coming down. They're still 7 seconds apart. It's kind of nice, gentle roller, shall we say. Sounds and rivers, a moderate chop. The possibility of fresh rainwater will continue tomorrow. Friday, southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots, east 3 to 4, sounds and rivers, a moderate chop.
All right, you're going to like this one. Showers and thunderstorms likely, mainly between 3 and 4 p.m. Otherwise, mostly sunny, high of 82. 15-mile-an-hour gusts at times with a 60% chance of rain, and the thunderstorms would have very heavy rain. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 66. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high of 86, but we will still have the gusts. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 66. And on Friday, mostly sunny, a high of 94. Saturday's going to be 95, folks.
Could be
Sunny.
steamy.
It's not going to be rainy. Just saying.
Steamy.
Yeah.
It will
I
be
agree
there.
with that. It will be steamy.
Humidity is going to be way on up there. And it's with the heat. Just put a pot out there and you'll steam some veggies. So
What if that really works?
I don't know.
I know,
We
but
used to,
you can bake cookies in a car.
on hot summer days,
afraid to try
we
that, but-
milk carriers used to
Mhm.
impress upon our supervisors how hot it was.
Oh, I'm sure you
And we
did.
did the egg frying on the hood of the vehicles.
Well, who ate it?
Not me.
The birds. Yeah, we
Didn't
did
get
it.
much
We did it.
sympathy.
We took a small cookie sheet, just a small
Yes.
thing, and put it on the dash of a car and put some chocolate chip cookie dough on it. And I'm gonna tell you, you roll those windows up in there, that thing is going to cook. It will cook.
Yeah.
We did it.
It'll
We put a camera on it.
cook a human
We
being
did
in
it.
there.
Yes, it will. Yeah, and with it coming on, folks, you guys with children of any age, don't go leaving them locked in a car. Don't go leaving them put away for
And
stuff
it
like
happens every
Look at my new license.
year.
Oh.
Look at how wild. Y'all, if y'all haven't seen these
Wow.
new licenses,
It-
they almost look fake.
that. It looks like a combat.
And look,
thing.
the picture moves if you shake the license. The picture
What?
in that. No.
Oh,
What's that? Just tilt it. No, tilt it. See it?
that's to verify that you are who you are.
I guess. And it's like 3D. It's got like a little photo inside, and if you tilt the card, it changes. And even it's.
I bought some boots in that month and that year.
Mhm. Oh,
I
really?
still have them.
Yeah. Well, then you know how old they are.
Yeah, I do. I do now.
Yeah. Just like, and then on the back,
What
it's,
is this lizard thing over there?
I don't know. It's on the back too. Isn't that wild? It's even got a horse and a lizard on the back. I don't know who designed these new North Carolina driver's licenses, but
It looks
my first thought, we were laughing at work, is it looks fake.
It looks militaristic. To
It
be honest with
does.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, and
It's wild. Yes.
you're hanging out underneath a horse,
I know. Isn't
and
it
he's
crazy?
eating.
I know. It's creepy. Who
You're
designed
hanging
this?
out underneath a horse,
I know.
and he's eating.
Yep.
And it's
And it's my head there. Yeah, I
you know
know.
what comes out and what happens.
I
next,
know.
don't you?
I saw that. And if you look carefully in the really small fine
Oh.
print, your name is just repeated over and over again, even on the front.
I guess that's from, all that stuff to thwart counterfeit.
You're going to have a
Ism.
struggle to counterfeit something like this. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the craziest license I've ever seen in my
It's
life.
got these funny little squigs. It's
Yeah.
subliminal. It's got a couple stars. One
Yeah.
of them is transparent. I mean, it's got a hole in it,
Yeah.
and the other one is
And
looks
it's
like
just
the
so
Texaco
bizarre.
star. Looks
yeah.
like the Texaco star from years ago.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
now we're
yeah.
there.
Well, that's my real ID thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I know.
See, look at that, Lee.
Interesting.
It's wild.
Oh, I like these.
It just looks futuristic. Would that be a word I would use? I don't know. It's wild looking.
Looks militaristic.
I'm
to
looking
me.
at lizards about the time out of the corner of my eye, I see something move.
Yeah, it's wild.
Hey,
and
puppies.
yeah, so it's like 3D. It's raised in some
Mhm.
spots, and yeah, I don't know who thought this up. They had to have been drunk when they came up with this design.
They decided, I'm not going to let anybody be able to reproduce this thing.
There'd be no way.
Until
Yeah.
you get some dude out there with the fifth grade. He's in the fifth grade and a computer.
Yes,
Watch out.
yes, and an imagination. So anyway, so that's finally after that 5:30 a.m. wait. I have my license. So
Hey, I got one for you now. Okay, here comes Walter and Ahmed. I really don't believe that you folks on the left, I don't believe not one of you has a clue what dangerous people lurk among us, walk on our sidewalks behind us, knock on our doors. I sincerely believe these non-believers have been sheltered from birth. They're disrespectful of law enforcement. Think about the ones that we see in the news all the time and could care less about anyone beyond their little tight circles. In neighboring South Carolina, 6 illegal aliens between the ages of 13 and 21. I'm going to read part of that again. In our neighboring state of South Carolina, 6 illegal aliens between the ages of 13 and 21 have been arrested in connection with the random May 2nd murder of a mom who was driving to meet friends in Rock Hill.
Mm.
Lancaster County Sheriff's deputies located 40-year-old Larisha Cheryl Thompson shot to death sitting behind the wheel of her car in Lancaster, which is only an hour south of Charlotte. On May 12th, authorities announced the arrest of 3 adults, including 21-year-old Asal Amadas Torres Chirinos, 18-year-old Jarby Ardon Ramos Oderi, 17-year-old Jason Sobiad Pinedo Salgado, and 3 juveniles, 13, 14, and 15, in connection with the Thompsons' death and a separate burglary that occurred on April 30th. On that evening earlier this month, that was May, Ms. Thompson was driving on a highway when a car occupied by the illegals pulled up alongside her. One of the teenagers opened fire from the window. The bullets struck and killed Ms. Thompson. The Department of Homeland Security has placed detainers on all 6 individuals. You can expect some of those that I have earlier described to make trips to Lancaster County to protest the arrest of the juveniles. I so hope you hurry up and head to that county, because I suspect the sheriff has a really good facility to let you hang out. Once the Thompson car wrecked, the passengers in the killer's car tried to open her doors. They were locked. Investigators believe they intended to rob the dead woman. The individuals have been identified from physical evidence, including surveillance video, as breaking into a store in the same area just a few days before. One of those guys at the time shot the camera with a 9mm handgun. Ballistics say that the bullets match those that killed Ms. Thompson. Duh, 2 and 2, it equals 4. The 3 adult suspects are charged with murder, attempted armed robbery, and second-degree burglary. Investigators say Torres Chirinos fired the handgun in both cases, and he is charged with 2 counts of firearms possession during the commission of a crime and 1 count of firearms possession by an illegal alien. A judge denied bond for all 3 men. Let me explain to you this, what the felony murder rule is. If you commit a felony and somebody dies during the commission or as a result of you committing that felony, you are automatically eligible for the death penalty. You got it? The 3 juveniles are also charged with murder, attempted armed robbery, and second-degree burglary. All 6 are subject to removal from the United States under federal immigration law based on their immigration status. They're illegals. At least one of those, based on what I'm reading, is eligible for a firing squad if he's tried and found guilty in South Carolina. Gentlemen, clean your guns. This is what is on our streets, people. They drive every day on our highways, traveling right alongside you, your relatives, your friends, and there remain those who could care less about the rest of us. They care about these 6 individuals, and you can rest assured they're going to go to South Carolina and protest. You're getting, terrible treatment. You're holding them in jail. These are just kids. They're juveniles. They're teenagers. And you have the audacity to put them in jail? Well, they're in jail because they wouldn't let them do what they really wanted to do to them. That you can rest assured. What can we do? And this is Lancaster, South Carolina, 400 miles from where we are right now. Mm-hmm. A few hours away. The same type of people could be here tonight from Lancaster or from Richmond or from, how long does it take to drive from Boston? How about Baltimore? It's not that far away.
Takes 13 hours to drive from
One
Boston.
of those guys that committed murder recently and got, they're screaming and hollering about, he drove from Texas, where he picked up some illegals to transport them back to I think it was Baltimore, or it was Boston, wherever, somewhere up yonder. They paid him money. He had money in his pocket, but they had paid him to pick them up and illegally pick them up and illegally drive them across the country, and didn't even have a driver's license that was valid. And the police in Tennessee stopped him and couldn't do a thing about it. Does anybody get mad besides me and Walter? Who's irate? Nobody. Y'all are just passive. The reason that we're in this boat today, and it has the holes in the bottom of it, and it is sinking rapidly, is because of people like some of you. You've done nothing about it so far, and you're still not jumping up and down and screaming and hollering. All the Democrats that are raising Cain, they're getting all the press. Where are we? Why aren't we protesting? Why aren't we out there carrying flags and signs? Why aren't we demanding justice?
What's
I'll
it going
tell
to
you
get
why.
you to go out there and protest?
Because some of us out there, if we were protesting and some of these idiots, I don't care if he's a Republican or a Democrat and he's a congressman or a congresswoman or the mayor of some fair city like Newark, New Jersey, I don't care. If you get in my way and I'm protesting too, there's going to be a fight. That's why some of us are not out there, because we ain't going to bend over and take it.
Well, I just feel like peaceful protest. I'm all for it. If that's your game, go for it. I understand you have the right to do that. But I've always felt like it was easier to, in my mind, what needs to be done? What do we need to do to fix this, to change this? You start off contacting, as Dr. Rose, and I'll stop right there.
We do need a voice of reason this morning, so I'm going to turn to the phones. And I know there's a lady on the phone here. She's a nice person. Dr. Rosemary Stein, good morning. I hope the weather is good in your neck of the woods today.
It's all right. It looks like it's going to rain some. We did get quite a bit of rain, and they said some flooding, although we didn't see it over the last few days. But it seems like that's what everybody's getting.
We had it. It's gone, I hope, to stay gone for a while. We got enough rain to take care of my garden, and I'm good.
My garden.
What's it looking like today?
There's not a cloud in the sky. The sun is up. There's not even a breeze blowing. It's hot already. It's
oh no.
Well, it's cool.
It's
still
65 degrees. Goodness.
Oh,
Well, that's going to change though.
Look at the
rapidly.
humidity level.
It is 65.
Humidity level is 99%.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a chance of showers as the temperatures heat up later
Yeah,
today.
late
So-
afternoon showers or the sea breeze.
and from between
Comes
now
in.
and 7 will be the story of the day. Chance of showers and
That's right.
thunderstorms. That's it's normal.
Winter in the south, and
yeah.
I guess it's turned into summer.
It is. How are the little kiddies doing? Ready to get out of school, get out of prison, and get free?
Get out of prison.
Well, that's what I always
hope
considered
none of them
it.
heard
I had to stop and think about
that
that.
they're officially in prison. They're doing all right. They got a lot of sinus things and allergy things, and I told you we had some flu last week. That seems to have gone away, as I thought it would. But they're marching along, and they have in the next couple of weeks. So they're getting themselves ready for, and as they should, and hopefully, their parents will think ahead and make sure that they take some practice tests and understand how to take the test, and make sure that they have their number 2 pencils ready in case something happens at school and they don't have enough. They just need a little bit of training and guidance for these tests, and if the parents can give them an encouraging word and some advice, I think that's a good thing.
My wife was in the education field until she retired a few years ago. And even though she was a dean of student services at a college, she would teach our class for quite a while. She was doing that. And one of the things that the class that how to study. Do you know that? And I was guilty of it and still am. Studying is one of the hardest parts of school for me. Going to school, no big deal. Get up, go to class, take the, you know what you're doing. You go through, you listen to the teacher, and yes, I make notes of it, and I got it. Not a big deal. And then I take the test. But then that homework assignment, when I didn't have anybody to talk to, the teacher, I didn't have access to a computer. I had a book of encyclopedias, a whole rack full of encyclopedias over there. They were 20 years old. studying current events was a real chore in those days. But I never learned to study. In junior high, they should have a class on how to study.
That's true.
They don't have one that I know of.
Yeah, and it's a learned trait or a learned skill, not a skill that just comes naturally to you. And so if your parents don't help you at home or didn't know how to do it properly so that you could do well on the test, and the teacher doesn't help you, and most teachers, I don't think that most teachers talk about that.
No.
Then the kid's going to have to figure it out himself, which is an awfully hard thing for a kid.
Here was my problem, and of course it still remains today. But here was my problem. I'm in school. I'm a quick learner of things that I'm taught in a classroom or wherever. I can go out and take that. Whatever you do, give me a test on it. I'm done. And I skated basically all the way through high school. But I never learned to actually, when I left that classroom, learn how to study. I needed the environment of a classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you that I am not the only one who faced that issue, but I am, I've acknowledged it now recently. I think that was a problem for me.
Reading something to read it and to get some information, and reading it so that you can be tested on it are two different things.
That's it.
And the way that you read it for testing is really different, and it needs to be taught. And so that's a really good point, is that I don't think that is something that's done in school, reading to be tested or really studying, which is just a more profound reading.
Well, we used to be, you give it a book or whatever it is. If it's your book, you take it home or you don't take it home and then into school to say, now circle that word or circle that sentence. This is important. You see this later. How many times was I told that? You will be tested on this. One sentence out of 3 pages. Oh, well, guess what I'm going to learn? No.
That was helpful.
Guess what I'm going to memorize? The rest of it, all that stuff leading up to it, that builds me and builds it. No, I didn't learn that. I memorized this, so I could pass that test in a heartbeat. I scored well. Did I learn anything? Probably not.
But the fact of life is that we have to pass those tests.
Yep. And
without that, then we're not going to succeed in the system that we have. And so children need to learn how to test.
Yeah.
And so I talk about that a lot at the clinic, but I didn't realize that there's such a deficiency, in our system in teaching the children how to test well.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think there is. I really sincerely, I can admit it now, 500 years later, almost 60 years later. But that's pretty revealing. And the only reason I bring it up to you is because I know you were really into the educational area too. You were, in addition to being a doctor and all that sort of good stuff. And you had the interest of not only the physical and mental well-being of kids at heart. You want them to get educated. You want them to become smart as well.
Well, and children who test better, usually, not always, but they usually can do better in life and getting jobs and in their profession.
And they feel better about themselves when they do that. So that's,
they do.
All sorts of good reasons for it.
A kid that gets a 90 is just a naturally proud kid.
Yeah.
They come home, they say, Mom, I got a 90 or I got 100. They're very, they become self-confident. Mm-hmm. And that's a nice thing to see about a kid who previously had not been doing well. I actually had that kid come into the office who thought they couldn't do well at anything. And so his room was a mess. The chores were half done. And school was going terribly.
That wasn't me.
And I talked to him and I said, you were letting you down. You're a smart kid. No, I'm not. I said, yes, you are. You have you have had a conversation with me and you're with it, but you want to tell yourself and everybody else that you're not smart. Prove yourself wrong. And I don't know how that kid snapped out of it. He came back, and within 2 or 3 weeks, he said, I did it.
Good.
He said, I'm not forgetting things. I'm remembering things. And I went from a CD student to an AB student just because I put the effort in.
Well,
and sometimes that's all they need. Just the kids just need to put an effort in, but they need an encouraging word.
Yeah, somebody's got to give it to them. And if the parents don't, then somebody else is going to have to. Thank God you did. So you saved that one. That's good. You got a lot more to go too.
Well,
but
at least at that moment in time, I told the mom, because the mom looked disappointed at that child all the time. And I said, Mom, take that face away every time you look at that child. Yeah. Look at him like you know he can. And when he disappoints you, go into another room with that face and come back with a face of, I know you can do it.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, I will do that.
Wonderful. Good for you.
I don't think it was my words. I think it was the mom's attitude change.
Well, you got the mama understanding too. We got kids that are going to be leaving school in a month or the last 2 weeks or so for almost 3 months. But there are a lot of things. Hopefully their interests will be up. Hopefully they will have some sort of a schedule. What do you recommend that they do this summer? Okay, instead of getting up at 5:30 to catch the school bus that I watched drive down my street this morning at 5:45. What in the world? Where are they going? But instead of getting up at that time of morning, an hour later or 2 hours later, one thing. But there needs to be some sort of a schedule, some sort of a regiment, something for them to stay busy with.
Absolutely. And those things need to be discussed before the end of the school year. If you got several kids, I would recommend that you have a little family meeting to talk about what the expected time to wake up. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to put out a list of the chores, and those are to be completed first. This is how we eat. I'll leave food that's good for you guys, and you take care of yourselves this way. And then after you do that, then you're free to have fun. And this is how we have fun. This is a list of things that you're allowed to do when you're a kid having fun. All of those things need to be laid out to a kid, because if you don't put walls around the kid will do whatever, and whatever can be very dangerous for his health, the safety, and his mind.
Yeah.
And so that's not good. But if you put those walls down, I'm not saying that every kid's going to obey everything you say, but the kid will tend to live more within those walls, but not putting any walls or structure in the child.
Growing up, the best thing that I had were only 2 TV stations that we could see here to begin with. We had ABC and CBS. And then we got, we had ABC, NBC and CBS networks. We didn't have an ABC network. That came along later. I was still in school when it came along, but in my early years, I'm talking about that, we didn't want to watch TV. What does Sam Hill? We didn't want to stay home from school. School, even if we were sick, we didn't want to stay home from school, because what are you going to do? You're going to watch A Guiding Light?
That was a good show.
Oh, good God!
Just saying.
No, watch soap operas, dope operas, as I used to call them. You watch this kind of stuff. I didn't want to watch that, so I'd rather go to school.
Well, some of the time, some of this nighttime program is no different than soap operas.
That's fine. But I mean, at home during the day, you're at home. You don't choose to do something else while you're at home during the summer, and you get stuck. You've got 500 channels, and then the worst thing you've got is that evil screen, the little one on your telephone or the bigger one on your computers. You got all of that to deal with. It destroys the mind.
I know what you're saying, because I find it very hard to focus on one thing and one thing only. I have so many things going at one time. Even if I'm watching something on television, I'm still looking up something on Google, or I'm reading an email.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what do you do to narrow all that for children?
It'll be tough. Me, of course, I had, before you could walk, literally before you could walk, I was over there talking to people all over the world at a very young age. And I was out in the woods. I was out planning to go boating. Of course, I couldn't go without my parents being involved in it. I was planning to go fishing. And then wasn't too long after that, I was going to go diving. I mean, I was busy. But not inside the house.
That point that was made was excellent. That how do we teach our children the art of not getting distracted? Because we get distracted because there's so much to get distracted over today. You could be in a room, but there's all kinds of things going on. Your phone is there, your tablet's there, there's music there.
I'm bad.
But what do you do? And a parent is a great instrument in that. And first you have to be able to learn to not get distracted yourself and be able to read and focus on something, because when there's nothing else to do, then you may have to focus. And that's what you teach your child. You get into a room, you make sure your tablet and your stuff is not around you, and you sit there, and it's kind of boring. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it will do you good and it will train your brain. And you sit there and you read it, and if the first time you don't get it, read it again, and then ask yourself, what did I learn from that? And then read it the third time, and that's the time it seals.
Well, I jokingly mentioned that bunch of encyclopedias. There were 20 of them, to be honest with you. That's what we have, a set of 20 Collier's encyclopedias. Y'all never heard of it. But anyway, that's what we have. I would go look up stuff that kind of piqued my interest, things that I didn't know anything about. I would just go through the book, look up something and say, Ahmed, okay, what is an Ahmed? Whatever I came up to, and I would look it up just because I was curious.
But see, Google replaced encyclopedias.
And then I could believe the encyclopedia because I didn't have another source to count on.
Right.
Today, you go to Google, and you got 4,000 different Google responses to one question. And which one do I pick? I don't know. And the telephone that you mentioned today, we had one. It was a party line. If I wanted to use it, I got to wait for the two teenage girls at the end of the block to get off the phone. So
that's a party, all right.
That was a party line, and that people don't. It's too bad y'all didn't have to deal with that. You would become a lot better. But disease-wise, we've got the obvious stuff here. We've got sunburns. We've got insect bites. We have snake potentials, and snakes can be everywhere, even in Kelly's backyard. I'm sure you have found them there at some point in time. Have you not?
Well, let's not talk about snakes.
Oh my God!
One in my garage.
No snakes.
She sent me one yesterday of a snake in a car. I'm like,
down at Hampstead, my friend.
A snake in a car.
Yes.
Two-legged or a slithery?
No, a slithery.
Oh, yeah. Well,
they're trying to go to work.
That's all right.
I think it's a good idea when it comes to snakes. Apart from go the opposite direction, but show children pictures of the venomous snakes that they can encounter, so that they know when to run real fast.
No, is before I could shoot a gun.
It's any snake for me.
We even use BB guns, and I put several of them down with BB guns. That head, you put a BB in it, they won't die. Anyway, so much for that. Seriously, we do need to have something for our kids to look forward to. Sometimes they can look at that 3 months. Oh my God, before I get to see anybody, friends, you need to make arrangements to go to places. There's the library, and they go, oh my God, I don't want to go there. But there are other places, recreational places. We in Jacksonville we're going to have this summer, at least 2 as far as I'm going to call them semi-professional baseball games here once a week.
Yes.
Once or twice a week, we're going to have that opportunity here. Go and participate and take them to see this stuff. Take them to some of the educational facilities that we have around here. We got plenty of them. So
I had a parent who would go online and find all of the educational and activity offerings around her, whether it was her county or the 2 counties around her, and she would one by one call them up and say, "So what are you guys all about?"
Yeah.
And what's the price of it? What's the time? And she would have a list of those and would
That's-
sign up for those for the 2 kids. Those 2 kids are amazing.
That's something for them to do, look forward to.
They're great students. They have great attitudes. But mom dedicated herself to making sure that she had great things for the kids to do, good exposure. And one is going to Elon University.
Oh, wow.
The other one's still in high school, but she has and on full scholarship, by the way.
Wow.
And the other one is still in, I think, 9th grade now.
Uh-huh.
And she's a great student and has great plans.
Well,
That's everything we can be doing.
And parents,
And I said, you were one of my top moms in the whole clinic.
parents,
And you have dedicated yourself. You're like the mom in Proverbs.
There you go. Moms and dads, you can be proud of yourselves once you get all this done, imagine. And you can save a lot of money with that scholarship going to college. Hello. If nothing else motivates you, think about the money. Dr. Rose, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rose.
Thank
As
you.
always.
All right.
I appreciate that. I love speaking to you guys.
Okay,
But see you next week then.
we do appreciate you. Thank you. And we have a caller, right?
Yes, we
Don't know
do.
who it is. Good morning.
Surprises.
How are y'all doing today?
We're hanging in here. How are you? What's up?
I'm kind of upset with our county officials
Okay.
on their government overreach of the way they're trying to take over the fire department.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talked at length here among ourselves, and I will tell you, you can give us your side of whatever. I do not know enough about it because I haven't talked with anybody about it. I've read a couple of letters. I read some officialdom stuff. As far as anything else, I'm not going to form an opinion until I have all of the information in front of me. So it's your turn. Go ahead.
That's where we have to differ. If we don't have an opinion on what's been given out and what's been given at the meeting and where they voted unanimously on this proposal they're making the fire departments take, and it's over $8 million, and they're trying to say they're saving tax dollars.
Okay, hold on just a
They're
second.
not
Are you
gonna
on a Bluetooth or some kind of a wireless device or anything like that with your telephone?
Is that better?
If you're on that, they always vibrate. I
Yeah,
can't
much
understand
better.
you.
Better
So
now.
better.
sounds much better. Thank you. Okay,
Okay.
you're talking about $8 million that's supposedly in the budget here that I've read. They put up $8 million to be divvied up, not equally, but as to the 13 various fire departments, volunteer fire departments throughout the county, based upon whatever they say their needs are. Right?
Yes, and if we cannot see the infrastructure that's getting built in all of our counties for the demand of this, why are they even, all the county congressmen, if they can't see the infrastructure they're planning to build, and the volunteer firemen are going to have more resources to cover this and the ISO rating that the homeowners are wanting to have. And if we go to what they're proposing, we have EMS times that are 45 minutes. The outlying areas of Onslow County.
Uh-huh.
And if we do that with our fire departments, we ain't going to have no homes left if they ever catch fire. Let's get the EMS fixed. I'm calling Rob Knapp and Roy Bennett out on this because they know exactly what I'm talking about with my father.
Okay.
And Rob Knopp has still not returned my phone call. And I've called him 3 times this week and talked to him, and he says he's returned my phone call, and he still has not.
Well, you might want to use the right name. His name is Robin Knapp.
Rob Knapp, this has been 2.5 years he's dodged me.
Okay.
On
I'm
this
not even
particular
going to say
issue.
anything.
Okay.
And
Well,
this is a problem with our county commissioners because they won't take time to listen to their citizens and the fire department when they're saying they do not want this.
okay. Well, I think they've got a meeting coming up. Are you going to be at the meeting?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, good.
Well, the contract is due to be signed by tomorrow.
Okay.
Right.
And
Yes.
you mentioned
and
that,
they're gonna
first,
pull funding for next year.
the contract was agreed upon by 4 fire chiefs and 3 commissioners. That's who wrote the contract.
Okay, and that's what's being proposed. And
Well-
they're now saying it has to be signed. That's 4 or 13, ma'am.
Yes, but what I'm saying
13.
is,
And which one of these 4s? Are they big time Jacksonville departments, or are they outlining areas?
It was the
Because yes,
volunteer fire chiefs that were on this committee.
Ma'am, which ones were signed? Were they close to Jacksonville or Swansburg?
What does it matter?
What does it matter? There was 4 fire chiefs and 3
ma'am,
commissioners.
It does, man. Yes, ma'am, it does, because if the other ones don't, their ISO rating and their funding goes. If it has to be unanimous decision, a unanimous decision across the department.
Let me ask you just a question here then. You say there were 4 fire chiefs there, right, from various departments?
I don't know which ones they are.
Okay, so you're asking a question. You don't know which one of the fire chiefs that were involved. Do you think that every fire chief in Onslow County, all 13 volunteer fire departments, do you think they have the best interests of the entire county at heart, or just their own departments?
Sir, do you realize what mutual aid is?
I do, but I'm asking you a question.
Hold on.
Do you think that they have? You're going to let me ask you the question, and then you can answer it. Don't ask me a question when I ask you one. Yes, I know what mutual aid is. Now move forward.
I was saying there's also what they call mutual aid. So yes, they care about the other departments as well, because their life of their firefighters are also in the life of the other firefighters from the other communities.
I think you're getting way off track what this whole thing is about.
No, I'm not, ma'am. I'm doing the basics.
Well, I can tell you basics right now as far as the
Our
volunteer.
do not care about our fire department. That's it. They want to go paid.
They are offering them an additional $6 million a year. If they want to sign this contract, they get it. If they don't, then they don't.
$6 million on the taxpayers.
That's right. If we've got the money to give to the fire departments to help support all of us, to bring our insurance ratings down, to be there and be responsive in case of a fire, it's a plus for everybody. But if they're willing, if they don't want to sign the contract, fine.
You cannot interrupt when one person is talking.
Okay. What are the volunteer fire departments doing now?
Excuse me?
What are they doing now?
They're doing what they've always done.
They fight fires.
Okay, so what's the difference in the Onslow County Commissioner stepping in and saying, hey, we know you're building this infrastructure, we'll give you this money so our hands aren't involved because we cannot get EMS under control. And
you're taking it as...
Because ever since Onslow County took over the volunteer EMS services, the slower response time has went higher.
Slower response time is because they don't have the people that they used to have. COVID just
and if we decide to go to a paid fire department, we ain't gonna have the people.
Who has mentioned?
No one has mentioned. They don't have the money.
We better not try that.
We don't have the money. I asked Robin.
We will all fight.
And if they don't do it next year, ma'am, and you don't understand, Onslow County has the obligation to provide fire service to the county.
So are you saying all the volunteers are quitting? Is that what you're saying? You're saying all the volunteer firefighters are quitting?
Ma'am, if you listen to what I'm saying, I'm not saying that. Onslow County is responsible to provide police service, EMS service, and fire service to their residents.
Correct. And they are.
Where does it say in our Constitution or anywhere else, where does it say they even have a responsibility to provide law enforcement? They do not. They have the county has let me explain to you. The county has a responsibility to provide for a sheriff and a deputy, and that is to take care of the jail, the courts, and to serve warrants. They're not required to provide law enforcement. Do you understand that? So tell me.
Law enforcement, police service is the sheriff's department. Is that not correct, sir?
I'm telling you again, the only thing that the sheriff is required to do, the only thing that the county is.
I would mean that Onslow County commissioners are they have to provide fire service to Onslow County.
Where does it say that?
Where, sir? Please tell me how the fire commissioner of Onslow County is going to have a county without fire.
Where does it require the county commissioners?
Please tell me how that's going to happen.
I'm asking you.
It's not going to happen, sir.
You've made a statement.
Have to provide that.
You have made a statement.
I made a statement because I can stand on it, sir. It's common sense.
Okay, first of all, let me just say, I know who this is calling, and I know that you have a personal, issue with Robinette.
No, I do not.
Yes,
ma'am.
you do.
I am saying if we put more burden on the taxpayers where we have to take care of the equipment of the volunteers fire service, the average turnout here is $3,500 for a new member. Okay? $3,500. If a fire department rolls 4 trucks out, they have to pay for that fuel. The county don't. Now, if the fire departments don't take this, the county's going to seize their assets.
Says who?
Then we have
That's
to-
not what the
Where did you hear
contract.
that at?
Have you read the contract?
No, I bet he.
I read the
You
whole
give me
thing,
an-
and it's not signed, ma'am. If it's not signed, what are they going to do?
That's right, and it
That's what's
doesn't
gonna
have to be
happen.
signed.
Y'all
If they
have to
choose
go
not
take-
to sign it, then we go back to where it was. Thank you, Bubba. Bubba got mad. And I know this gentleman, and I know that.
I'm not going to go into the personality, so
No,
get
no.
over that right now.
But
I
I
don't
just
care whether
wanna
he likes
say-
Robin or hates Robin. It doesn't apply.
But I think because there was an issue with an EMS call, that he's basing a lot of his opinions on that.
And EMS call is not the fire call.
I've read this contract, and let me tell you what, it's a tight contract, and there may be room to negotiate a little bit, but if you've got the chance to increase your funding by $6 million,
For 13 fire
Think-
departments.
that's right. Think what they will do. Think what that will do. And what I can do, if you want to wait till tomorrow, I can just put all this out in bullet
No, you
points.
can do
or
that.
we
But-
can talk a little bit about it today.
Now, the other thing is this thing of volunteer fire departments. I came from New Hanover County, the smallest county in the state, right?
Right.
They had a bunch of volunteer fire departments. In fact, my dad in 1950-ish started the first one, the
Right.
first fire department. That was at Seagate. That was the first fire department, volunteer fire department. I know about volunteer fire departments.
Right.
The volunteer fire departments, one of them was located as the city grew, Wilmington grew, one of the volunteer fire departments at, I forgot the name of it, anyway, on Riceville Avenue, that was taken over, not taken over, but that fell within the city limits. But their territory did not include the city limits. They had to go outside the city limits, so they ended up moving that fire department, or volunteer department. And right now, that county has grown to the point that it is mostly city.
I
one
just
or
want
the
to
other.
say, and I know y'all feel the same way. Hats off to anyone who volunteers.
Absolutely.
Hats off to our volunteer
All of
fire
them.
department. I've seen them in action.
But
We all
let's-
have.
but
We
let's go
appreciate
back.
it. But this is our tax money that we're going to give you a whole bunch more. So of course we're going to hold you to some standards.
As you should be.
Exactly.
We want to
right.
make sure, I would love for every dollar that I spend to be accountable.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to do that. And in the case of volunteers like the fire department, they do not go there and nitpick and figure out, okay, you ran this truck down here for this amount of time. You did this, you did that. They don't do that. Now, the county does not, they don't have the time, they don't have the manpower, they have no desire. The volunteers take care of themselves, and generally speaking. Okay.
Let's-
They're going to
let's
give you
go
this
back.
money.
We got to talk to Charlie here.
Okay.
But the other thing is, we need to. We're going to get the information. I'm not sure who the caller was. You call him by name. I don't know whether
I
that
know who he is.
was a real name or
You
not.
know what's his name?
Okay. We're going to get the information. But when you call in, have some respect. Don't talk while somebody else is talking. And if I ever ask you a question, this goes back in my earlier, do not respond to my question with a question, or you're done. One and done. Good morning, Charlie. How are you?
We know that, don't we, Kelly?
Charlie?
Why do you guys always assume it's me calling?
Because
Because
you're
you
the only one that calls from an unknown
Because
number.
you said it was.
Yeah, your number shows up as unknown and no one else's does.
Do you guys know what an algorithm is, correct? You know what an algorithm is, right?
That's a
Yeah.
long word.
Very much so, yes.
Okay, so this is my favorite show. So I've called your show so many times. I went to YouTube. I typed in your guys' show. It did not show up. I had to go through like multiple search engines to get your show to show up.
Okay.
No, what do you mean okay?
I said
Shouldn't it
okay.
show from Google?
Oh, I should, but you're dealing with Google and you're dealing with us. They don't like us.
You know, I'm serious. I don't
No, I am
think they
too.
like you. I think they're burying you guys.
They prefer us not to be here, but we're here.
Yeah, we are.
So, any thoughts on Trump visiting Saudi Arabia? Just like a general visit, or something significant?
I know very little, but do you mind if I give you just my little take on it? Saudi Arabia is richer than God.
Go ahead.
They are.
Saudi Arabia is richer than God. Why do we need to even acknowledge their existence other than, hey, we appreciate getting the oil from you? Is there any other reason we need to spend some time in Saudi Arabia by anybody, much less the president of these United States, and spending my money to get there? I'm going to ask you that question.
So I don't know all the morals and the values that Saudi Arabia represents, but in my opinion, I think, aren't they like really like horrible gay? Don't they like hate certain sexualities?
Yes.
Aren't they like very strict?
Yes.
When it comes to certain.
Yes.
That's their privilege.
Yeah,
if they want to do that, and the people there want to allow it, I don't care. It's not impacting me.
Well, hold on, wait a minute. It's not impacting you.
No.
But isn't it impacting the vulnerable people in that community?
I can't take care of the world.
You know what? I'm a fan of one of the individuals on your show. Oh, wait, hold on, wait. No, listen. I mean, don't they hate a certain members of a community?
Yes, they do.
All right, so I'm not going to say anything. Okay, listen. So listen, I'm a Republican, pro-Trump, but certain things you got to say. Listen, you can't discriminate. You can't hurt these people that are.
Well, Charlie, did you see this morning Trump wants to sit down and talk with Iran? I saw it when I was leaving to come here.
Okay, first of all, I love you. You're a great person.
I need you to call me.
I will not do that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to research it. I'll research it.
Yeah. I just saw it as I was walking out the door. And that's kind of, I don't know what that's all about. I need to look that up.
We have enough issues between the borders of California and North Carolina and North Dakota and Texas. We got everything in between those areas. That is enough of us. We got some outlying areas: Hawaii, Alaska, Guam, Puerto Rico. I forgot all the others. We got a list of places that the U.S. Virgin. We got all of these places that are ours. We have issues everywhere. When we get all of those resolved and taken care of, or at least have a plan that will work so that 6 kids between the ages of 13 and 21 don't go down and drive up next to a woman in Lancaster, South Carolina, roll their window down and shoot her to death as they're driving along the highway, then I will be glad to go to Saudi Arabia and help you out with your problems. But until we can do that, no. We got too many here to deal with. And these were illegal aliens, by the way. So, no, I don't care about Saudi Arabia or whether they like gays or hate them.
Maybe he wants their money. Maybe Trump wants their money.
I'm sure he wants everybody's money, but that's beside the point. Treat them with dignity, but don't bend over backwards.
Okay, yeah, he wants to make a deal, urgently wants to make a deal with Iran to wind down its nuclear program.
Blow them up.
But he says Tehran must end its support of proxy groups. Well, that's not ever going to happen.
Yes, it will.
I don't.
There's going to be an accident. We had one in Chernobyl, remember?
I need you to stop.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
Yes.
If someone shows you who they are, if someone says, listen, this is who I am, don't you accept that individual or that community as who they are?
I'm going to assume you're talking about gays. Yes, I will.
No, I'm not talking about gays. I'm talking about gays. I'm talking about how women are treated. I mean, how individuals that may be gay, how they're treated. If somebody says, listen, this is who we are, don't you accept them for who they are? Well, regardless of it's good or bad.
MS-13, I'm not going to accept them for who they are. I'm not going to accept the Venezuelan gang that kills people. I'm not going to accept You understand? So don't ask me a blanket question like that. If you want to be specific, yes, I will accept people. I'll accept women. I do all the time. I'll accept for what they can provide us, what their issues are. They have problems that they want to talk about. Cool. We're good with that. Gays, same situation. I don't have anything against any of the above. You're not going to force feed me. women's lib
Can I
rights.
ask you a question?
Yeah.
I'm being very respectful. I'm not saying, hey, Charlie, you're trying to bait me. Do you have any family members of yours that are in the gay community?
Let's see if I do now or not. I have had, I'd have to think about it. Not in my immediate family.
Seriously?
No. My immediate family is dying rapidly. You got to understand. I got cousins that are getting further and further, more distant all the time. I don't know. Yes, I do. I do have a cousin that is married to a same sex. Yes.
So you thought hard enough.
I had to think about it. It does not weigh on my head every day. You understand?
No, I'm not saying it weighs in your head. But you accept that human being as
Absolutely.
as a normal?
Yeah. She's as normal in her dealings as I am with my attitude. Okay?
Oh, yikes.
Don't say yikes. I'm normal.
Your attitude is what I'm saying it about.
No, seriously. We all have our idiosyncrasies, except Charlie. I'm presuming you're straight normal, right?
Well, hold on. Wait. What does straight normal mean?
Not straight as in not gay. I mean, just regular normal. You're just a regular.
You like
normal
girls,
person.
I met some really. I met some very. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
We
can
all
hear
have
you.
our idiosyncrasies. I live
Ask
with
that
mine
question,
and
ask that
others.
question. Okay. Ask that question one more time. What was your question?
I was pointing out that I'm assuming that you are a regular guy, just like the rest of us are regular people. But you and I and these two young ladies, except Kelly, we have our own idiosyncrasies. We all have our own little things that we have to think about ourselves. That she keeps hers to herself.
Okay, I'll share this with you. I was molested as a child.
Okay, I'm
Right.
sorry.
So does that make me gay?
No.
Why would you even think that?
I'm not thinking that. I'm trying for you to think that.
Why would I think it?
Okay. No. I'm just saying, yeah, I think you got to be careful with your words.
Huh?
Hey, let me change the subject. What about the South Africans that were allowed in the country? Do you see those white South Africans
I saw it.
that Trump is allowing
Yeah.
into our country?
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that?
I haven't paid any attention to it yet. I saw it, but I've had other issues to deal with.
The liberals are going.
They
the
are.
liberals are going nuts.
They're losing their
They're
minds.
nuts.
Yeah, they are.
They're going nuts.
They are.
Why?
I saw because they're white. They say refugees can't be white.
Why are these white people holding USA flags?
Yeah.
They don't know. They have no. Here's why. I was talking with someone earlier at Costco, and I think this gentleman was from El Salvador. He worked there. He agreed with me. He's like, these guys are being killed. There are people from South Africa that are being killed. Nobody knows the amount of South African whites that are being killed. You guys should Google.
The population of South Africa is extensively heavy white.
Mm-hmm. But it's a farm thing. I know somebody from there.
It's most of them.
I hired a guy from there. He was born there.
They have cool accents.
Well, he didn't.
I like
He
that.
was one guy.
Stupid Spectrum out again.
But
He was
no,
a sports guy.
but Charlie's right. The left is having a fit about it. Saw it last night on the news because they're saying refugees cannot be white.
Somebody's
That's what they said. They literally said refugees cannot be white.
Well,
It was on CNN. They said it. Yes.
for God's sake. Then they're looking at color, aren't they? They're racist.
Well, I'm not.
If you make a statement like that,
I
then
hear
you're a
you.
racist individual.
I hear you. Just saying.
And you're doing nothing but looking at color.
But Charlie's right. They are losing their minds.
Well, they didn't have
No,
one.
but I did hear you guys. I wish I would have it queued up, and I wish I could give you more facts.
No, you.
But there's somewhere in South Africa on a long stretch of road where there are thousands of crosses where whites have been killed. Nobody talks about it. Here's the thing with South Africa, and I may be wrong. I think 400 years ago, the Dutch, they
The white
incorporated
Dutch.
South Africa. And they built these farmlands. They incorporated South Africa. It's it's free reign right now to kill the whites in South Africa. And the governor or the president, I'm not sure who it is, I'm not going to articulate it, you can kill them and nothing's going to happen to you. And people are like, Charlie, I think you're nuts. That doesn't make any sense. You guys got to Google it. They're killing the whites left and right. Nobody is saying anything.
It's a lot like I've said here. You could go to South Chicago. Blacks are killing each other. And you know how many blacks, what the percentage of the black people who are killing other black people that are being arrested are? Way down to just barely the double digits, the solve rate. So they don't care.
Well,
And the people in South Africa do not care that whites are being killed. And even if they're being killed by blacks, they don't care.
this Newsweek put out an article in 2018 that said every 5 days a white farmer is killed in South Africa, and they were talking about how the authorities aren't doing anything about it.
Uh-huh.
That was in
They're not
2018.
doing anything. They're not doing anything.
Yeah. So, but so Trump brought in 59 Afrikaners yesterday or Monday as under refugee status, and the Democrats are losing their minds about it.
Well, okay.
But they want MS-13 gang members here and stuff.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
At least they're screened.
Hey,
These were vetted.
All those guys marching north to the southern border through Mexico wearing Biden shirts in 2016. What about those? Were they ever screened?
No.
I just rest my case.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Hey, I'm going to say one last thing, and I'm not sure how it works out. I mentioned this earlier. You guys know what algorithm is, right?
Yes.
It's a long word.
Oh, very much so.
That's Lee's thing. Yeah.
If your algorithm is being hidden on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we know. I could go in there and change a lot of the keywords and search words and up it a little
No,
bit.
I tried it. I generally, I've called you guys to show maybe, 50, 60 times. I forgot the link to your show, and I typed in certain keywords, nothing shows up.
We can put them on there ourselves. We can add them. You cannot add them to our page, but we can add them to our page, and or phrases or whatever.
Yeah.
And then once we add them, then more people will have easier access to find
And
it.
all you have to do is go on YouTube, and when you bring up our page, hit the subscribe button, and that'll put it in your saved videos as your subscriptions. So if you ever forget, you go into your YouTube and you click on subscriptions, and it'll show us, and you click right on there.
No, but I'm telling you, no. I've saved your guys' page. I've called your show so many times. I was looking for your show earlier through my subscriptions.
Sure.
I had to go through so many obstacles to find your page to call you guys.
They don't
Because I have the number
Charlie,
saved.
bookmark us.
What's that?
Well, that's what you do when you
Just
subscribe.
put it on your bookmark
Yeah.
so you can.
I'm
click
telling
on
you,
it
I
anytime.
bookmarked it, but it's not showing up.
You have to realize, Charlie, we are a community-based show. We do this for our community and our surrounding areas.
If we wanted to go nationwide, I would do a podcast instead of doing a community-oriented talk show. And, yes, we do extend beyond the borders of just our community, because the things that happen in D.C., some of the things like you're talking about involving South Africa and Saudi Arabia, they do impact us because we pay those dollars. That's $60 billion that the president's talking about giving to the richest country in the world, Saudi Arabia, the people with all the oil. That impacts me. That's my money you're talking about. So we talk about things like that.
Let me ask you this. I'm watching your show right now. Are you guys on? You guys know what Rumble is, correct?
Yes. I watch Rumble.
Okay, you guys, listen, I love this show. This is my favorite show. There's an individual on your show that's been very nice to me. Anyway, you have 16 viewers right now. You guys should have 1,000 viewers. Why don't you have 1,000 viewers?
There may be 16 viewers, but to be honest with you, there are ways that a lot of people can watch. And I had one that was watching from Armed Forces Radio and TV. She was in another country, Germany, in fact, and she was able to click on hers, so hers did not show up. I had a guy who worked for one of those alphabet agencies. He was in Haiti, His did not show up, but he would always send me notes that he was watching and this is what's going on. There is a way you can keep anything that you're looking at on something like YouTube or Facebook, you can keep it from showing up as that you're watching it. Did you know
I
that?
have family in Ireland watching.
Did you know that?
Hi guys, by the way.
So
Okay.
anyway, that's the way it works. Some people just don't want anybody to know that they're watching, and it happens.
By the end of the day,
I know. Yeah, I know. There's something missing with why your show is not hitting massive viewers.
it's because we aren't trying.
Viewership.
If we
We
want
aren't
to try
trying.
that, if we want to try that, we can do that. I put out
No, it's not about you trying it. I think that your viewers are being hidden. I think you guys are being blocked.
it's a possibility.
Well, that could be.
It's a possibility.
True that.
I'm not going to dispute that whatsoever. I mean, I fight Google all the time, and I make fun of YouTube and Facebook, and we're on them. I do it all the time. It's a matter of, if Johnny Carson had belittled NBC like we have belittled Facebook and YouTube over the years, he never would have made it past the first year.
True that.
You understand? So those people, they had a lot to gain by not doing it. We're not going to get any. If we got 1 million viewers, what is it going to get us? Money?
I think you guys have, I genuinely believe that you guys have probably 100 times the viewers that you have, and something's not clicking.
Likely.
It's not showing up.
It doesn't register. You cannot count the people that don't want to be counted. You've ever heard of the silent majority way back when? That's pretty much what's happening. We know it because I have people talk to me that never show up on our Facebook or YouTube
Yes.
channels that you can see.
Yeah.
I can't count them.
And I will tell you that most of your radio companies now are not even using the Nielsen ratings
they won't do it.
anymore. They said it's a waste of time. It really doesn't show them what they're
It's
getting.
a waste of money.
And a waste of money, yes.
Being in the television media for so long, before I left, we dumped Nielsen.
Right. Yeah.
It just
most everybody
weren't going to
has.
do it anymore because it wasn't worth $100,000 a year. It was to just subscribe to them to tell you how many people were watching. Well, duh.
Hey, can I ask you one last question?
Sure.
What motivates you guys to wake up every morning and get together in your studio and put on this podcast?
Because these two ladies love me. That's the only thing that really keeps me coming in here is that they love me and tolerate me for 2 hours, and they spend the rest of their day in therapy.
I do love Rayford. He's a good guy.
So it's a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm retired. Lee's retired.
I'm not retired.
Kelly's working her buns off. We got to have somebody to
Towards
support us.
retirement.
But anyway, I just enjoy communicating, and I enjoy talking with Charlie. I enjoy talking
do
with
too.
Bill when he calls in. I love talking.
No,
seriously.
I'm serious.
Seriously,
All jokes aside,
I enjoyed talking with the congressman yesterday. We had a great conversation with him. We do every month.
I love it. I love it.
He's fitting to call us. So, what else do I need?
And I can tell you, Charlie, I grew up listening to local community radio. I mean, I always knew what was for lunch at school. I always knew what the weather was going to be, if the school buses were delayed, what was happening on the news locally here in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And so I grew up listening to talk radio. The one talk show that we had here, the gentleman that had the talk show, he suddenly passed away.
Yeah.
And so talk radio
It
went
died.
away.
It went away.
Rayford brought it back years later, and we do a lot of community stuff. We do a lot of news locally, anything happening here in Onslow County, Jacksonville, North Carolina, Camp Lejeune on base. We like to put it out there.
We'll be
and let
talking
people
about
know.
it sooner or later. We're not news. We are not a news organization. I spent way too long in news, and that was the dog-eat-dog world. You got to beat the other guys, right? You got to get the news. You got to get the facts. You got to get it on the air first. Done. That's what we did. That's what we made a living at. Today, I don't do that. Now, way back the days that you were talking about, actually predating the days you're talking about, there was a radio station here. There were only two. One of them was WJNC, and there was a guy, the owner of WJNC, the owner and general manager, a guy named Bob Mendelson. old guy at the
Did not
time.
know him.
And they had a little station wagon, and he had it rigged up with a mobile unit in the back of it. At the station, every time the Jacksonville Fire Department, which was not very often in those days, the town was very small, 20,000 population total, if that many. Every time the fire department would go out on a call, they hit a button and it rang a bell at the radio station. It was a public service. He would jump in his car, the radio
That's
car,
what we need
and
to
he
do.
would go straight out to that fire and he would do a live report from the fire, whether there was anything to it or not, just to let the people who saw that fire truck go by know what was going on. That's community service in a small, very small town. We can't do that anymore because
We're over
Oh.
200,000.
yeah, we'd have to chase every fire truck, and there are 13 volunteer fire departments, plus every city
Maybe.
has one.
Maybe.
Anyway, so they run all day long and all night long. So we couldn't do that. But he did it in those days. That's community radio. We do as much of that as we can. How does that sound?
So, but okay, let me ask you this. And I know you guys are probably getting tired of me. Okay, you guys, do you think that are you advertising to the people, or do you realize that there are certain people around the world that are watching you guys outside of your community?
We don't
That's
cater.
fine.
We don't cater to them. We do mention
But
all these other.
listen, I'm not in your community. I have no clue what your community is.
Uh-huh.
I have no idea the people, how you were brought up, where you go to your local deli or your local restaurant. I'm just some random idiot online.
We go to the
Watching you
Piggly
guys.
Wiggly.
We like random idiots. I mean, we are one of us here is a random idiot. So you and I get along fine, Charlie. But seriously, I know we always get along, but there are people out there in the world, because I've been to a lot of places. There are people out there in the world that I know, some of them are listening because some of them I've worked with at certain places at certain times and doing certain things that I know some of those guys are listening. I can talk, and sometimes I'll make mention of a few things that you might not know what I'm talking about, but I'll just make a remark here and there, and then I will get a note if somebody will send me a note, or they'll say something later
Oh,
on.
I have one from
Hold
earlier
on.
that I
Do you
haven't
ever
had a
get notes
chance.
from people around the world?
Yes.
Like I live, it doesn't matter where I live. Do you ever get like random people from like another continent that say, listen, I just discovered your show. I enjoy what you guys do.
Well,
Yes.
Lee can probably respond to that more than me because I don't look that much at Facebook. I will get direct notes to me from people that I know or they know of.
So Lee,
They research me.
do you ever get like random people from like Australia or
Yes.
Mongolia?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
we
In
do.
fact, I just had to go in on YouTube and put one in timeout. That happens occasionally. But we get messages. We have people watching us from Japan,
Mm-hmm. We do.
and Canada, Alaska, Colorado. Hi, John. California, of course. We have people from out of country, and they will occasionally send a message to us. And like Rayford said, Kelly and I, we do the messages because Rayford doesn't.
Go on.
But we have, and like I said, Charlie, our whole thing is community based here in Alonzo County. We love our community.
And
We
surrounding
love our
counties.
elected
Yes.
officials in surrounding counties. We live on the coast of North Carolina. So we're all beachy. We're Southern. We like,
She
apple
said
pie.
beachy. She didn't say that other
Yeah,
word.
beachy. Yeah. And
That would be me.
that would be Kelly. Yes.
Yeah.
But we do this because we love to do it. Plus we like being a part of the community and letting the community be a part of what we're doing.
We give them access.
Yes.
You heard, if you were listening earlier, and I'm sure you have heard this Wreaths Across America deal. We have, we got a very large military installation here, a couple of them, several right
Largest
in our,
on the East Coast.
several right in our
Mhm.
listening area, in fact. But we have a cemetery here of veterans. Got it? It's got 8,600 people in it, 8,600 veterans in
Not
it.
yet,
Whatever
but
it is.
it should be close.
And we help raise money to buy wreaths so that every one of those graves, because there are people there that don't have any relatives around here, nowhere near here. They may be on the West Coast. These Marine veterans or other veterans, they're in this cemetery. Their relatives may be long gone or long dead,
Right.
but we want to make sure we join forces with this organization to make sure that there is a wreath on their graves every Christmas time. That's one of our efforts. So yeah, we do things like that.
Well, okay, let me ask you one last question. First of all, I love this show. As you guys know, I'm a complete nutcase. I call into so many shows. I'm a horrible individual to so many shows, but I'm very sure when I call into your show. and I think I've asked this before. I'm not a horrible individual. Kelly, I really like her very much, regardless. But have you guys ever been...
What?
Have you guys ever been recognized out in public?
No. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. They
Yes.
recognize us from our voices. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
Have you ever been like to Target or Kmart or wherever, JCPenney?
I have.
I have.
Ever said, listen,
yes, I've been approached.
honestly?
Yeah, truly.
You've been recognized.
Yeah,
When they start
absolutely.
talking to us, they recognize me mostly. They don't know my face, thank God, but they will recognize my voice when they hear
I
me
had
talking.
somebody when we were at Mission Barbecue for the Wreaths Across America.
Yeah.
Somebody come into the truck like, "Oh, you're that girl on the radio.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
the girl on the radio.
Yeah.
You're the girl on the radio. You're
And-
Lee." I'm like,
Some
"Yeah."
people have even approached my husband. Happened on Saturday.
Mhm.
Up to him and said, "You're married to Kelly," and he said, "Yeah, like we like listen to her because she's sassy." I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
Good to know.
she's the explosive one.
Yeah, it kind of used to be that she was Robin Knapp's wife.
Now it's the other way around.
Now he's Kelly Knapp's husband.
Yes,
So
yeah.
Kelly is the explosive one.
You guys, you rock, Kelly. You're amazing. I'll leave it at that. Take care, guys. Bye.
bye. See
Bye.
ya. Thank you, Charlie. I love Charlie.
I'm
I love
so
Charlie.
glad that he loves Kelly now.
Yeah, he used to not like me, but he does now.
Well,
I know. What is it? What would it cost me to get you to like me? Anyway, offshore out to 20 nautical miles
I
per
love
hour.
you,
Southwesterly winds 5 to 10 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet, about 7 seconds apart. Sounds and rivers only a light chop. A chance of showers will be with us forever. Southwesterly winds 10 to 15 knots tomorrow. Wind seas 3 to 4 feet, still 7 seconds apart. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Possibility of freshwater rainwater is continuing. Water temperature out there in the surf is in the low 70s. The
So
Spanish
cold.
mackerel are biting. I'm not going to get in it, but the Spanish mackerel are biting. If you like fresh Spanish mackerel and you got too many, I'll take 1 or 7, whatever you got left over. Southwesterly winds Friday, 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 4 feet. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop.
All right, I'm reading this as it's written for me, so I
Uh-oh.
didn't make this up. Showers and thunderstorms likely, mainly between 3 and 4. So for that 1 hour today, there's probably, according to this, a
That's why I go
60%
back
chance
and
it's
read
going
it.
rain.
Increased. Is that Eastern Standard
I
Time or
just-
daylight time?
I think
or
it's
UTC?
our local time. So between 3 and 4, you guys can, according to this, and National Weather Service, expect rain. Otherwise, mostly sunny, high of 82. Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 66. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 86. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 66. And on Friday, mostly sunny, a high of 94, because that's when the heat up begins.
That's why I go back and rewrite
The
all
heat
that.
Oh,
It's
I do
going
too.
to rain, maybe.
Yeah, potentially.
I'm not going to play that.
We had a comment that
27%
came in
rain.
earlier, and I don't know if it's my phone again or if my internet's messing up, and I wasn't able to respond to him. But back when we were talking to Dr. Rose about,
Uh-huh.
when we were homesick from school, about how a lot of people watch Guiding Light.
They do
soap
watch
operas
Guiding
on-
Light.
God.
Guy like rock. And you also watched Price is Right.
Well, Chris Miller said, no, when we were sick, we would watch the Today Show all morning, the live with Regis and Kathy Lee.
Oh, he was a young'un then.
He was a young one.
Yeah.
Kathy Lee and Regis were
And
not
then
on
Price
there.
is Right, then take a nap.
You have to watch Price is Right. But I remember
Reboot this.
being, no, you don't remember,
no.
in the 70s, I had a really severe case of strep throat. Like it ended up turning into rheumatic fever, but that's a whole nother
Mhm.
story. But anyway, I can remember being home and the Doctor Who, remember the old Doctor Who, that little creepy song that came on, Doctor Who?
Who?
What?
Stop. So anyway,
on
that song,
first.
and it scared me so bad I cried. I still remember that. And I also, this is why I can't drink cherry medicine from that
What?
whole sickness. Makes me vomit. I hate
What?
cherry medicine from
They
that.
had something to do with
There's
Doctor
a
Who.
well, they all work together. I was sick, had to listen to that stupid song because, it was only, 2 channels, 3 channels. That's all there was. You're stuck. Changing the channel meant you had to physically get up and go turn it. There was no remote control.
Yeah.
So when you're laying there on death's door because you're sick, you had to suffer through it. But yeah.
When I was before the days of everybody having a remote control at the beck and call.
Yeah.
I got to the point with Candy coming along.
You did not make her go up and change that channel.
He did because she's told stories. I know. I've heard him.
Wow.
Yeah, Candy, put that over to the other channel.
Well, we used to have to go outside and turn the antenna.
Oh,
we had to do that every
that
once
was
in a while.
wired to the clothesline pole.
We had my dad had a box.
Yeah, I know.
That came later.
Yeah.
You know what our first TV was in a rotor control? My dad, they put the antenna on top of the house. Like
Yeah, ours was, yeah.
And he drilled a hole through the house. Well, we had a bucket underneath there because when it rained,
Oh my God. This man's an architect?
You ready? Yeah, you ready for this one? He had just above his head, about a foot or so up, he had a little pipe going through that pipe that was going up. He could go in there in the hallway and turn it and say, somebody had to watch TV.
Whoa.
Okay, go, stop, back it up. And we would walk him in talking about it. That was the first antennas we had.
But then midnight was
Everything
the Star
went
Spangled
off.
Banner. And everything
Always, yeah.
Always.
I remember
that as a kid.
That's what
Always.
woke you
And they
up.
go-
They don't do
Going
that
off.
now. Well, everything's on 24 hours now.
That's
but-
what we used to wake me up
Yeah.
to go to bed. I was watching
Yeah, same. I
TV,
fall asleep a couple
and then they
times.
play the national anthem, and then they go beep, and then there was a tone, and then there was
All that, yeah.
On Friday, or I think it was Saturday night or Friday night.
Okay.
Dance Fever with Denny
Oh,
Terrio at 11:30, and then it would
Dance
go off
Fever.
at noon. And
We
at
had Will
midnight.
C. Red Eye Cinema here in the late 70s with all sorts
I used to
of
love
old
that show when
movies.
I was a kid.
I never saw that one.
Yeah.
Listen to these headlines. I just looked at this in one page.
Go ahead, and then I got one for you. It's gonna make your blood boil.
Trump signs order aiming to cut some drug prices. Trump announces plan to pressure drug companies to lower U.S. costs. Trump signs executive order to slash drug prices, including some weight loss drugs. Trump signs executive order asking drug companies to reduce prices. Trump signs order aimed at cutting drug prices by up to 80%. Trump to pitch sweeping Medicare drug price plan. That's about one story.
Such
One
a
story
bad
with
man.
all of those different headlines.
Yeah.
Which one am I going to choose? You know what I did? None of the above. I don't care because they're going to lie to me.
Wow.
That many different news sources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
How many have a
Different
different take on
things.
it, like an
All of them.
anti-Trump take? Yeah,
All of them. Well,
yeah.
not all of them. Some.
Yeah. Some will be pro, but yeah.
Well, it was like what was the one? Trump signs order aimed at cutting drug prices by up to 80%. I know what that would be. So that's the way it goes.
I will give Trump this. He's done more in his first, 5 months as president
I don't know.
than any president I've ever known to do in 4 years.
I don't know. Show me the pudding. Show me the proof. Show me in my taxes that I have to pay them
Well,
less money, and I'll be happy.
We'll see.
Which of the stories should be about the same topic that I should talk about? This is a problem that you and I have every day. When we go to online, you cite statistics from whatever story you have chosen to read, like yesterday. One of our callers, a great guy that I actually hope to meet one day, talked about how expensive a particular drug that I take is. He mentioned something like $8 per pill. Well, no. Without using insurance money, you can buy that same thing that I do, and I buy it over the counter for anywhere from $28 to $33, and that's for 42 pills.
Yeah.
At $8 a pill, I would be spending $336 for those 42 pills.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm spending somewhere between, depends upon where I get it, $28 and $33 for 42 pills, not $8 a pill. We make up the facts, or we listen to idiots like these 6 different places that I just mentioned with their different headlines as to what the facts are, and then we repeat them. No, that's not facts. Facts are I spend between $28 and $33 every time I want to get these pills over the counter. No insurance involved. Nothing like that is over the counter. We need to really do a little research instead of just accepting whichever version of the same story that we choose to read. 6 different takeaways for everybody there. Frustrated. I get really frustrated because I know news. I know what these people are doing. Knowing that there is such a difference in the versions of the real story that is floating around over the internet. It's different. I don't know which one is factual. That's the problem. I don't blame you guys. You're caught in the same quagmire that as many of us screaming that we're fed up and we're not going to take it anymore. Walter is one of them. I'm Walter. About the drug price story, I'll wait until I can find 3 different unrelated news sources that can actually give me the same facts. I need 3 of them to give me the same facts before I will quote any of them.
Okay, makes sense. Well, here's one.
Yep, let me hear it.
Yesterday in Wake County, a public school teacher who teaches special ed got arrested. You're gonna like this.
Uh-oh.
Makes me so my head's hurting over this one.
I've
He's
got
accused of assaulting 5 disabled children between the ages of 5 and 10 on May the 6th. So he's charged with 5 counts of felony assault on an individual with a disability and 5 counts of assault of a child under age of 12. He has his he was given $150,000 secured bond, and this afternoon, he will be in Wake County Court.
Good. Keep him.
Excuse me.
Send him to see the sheriff after the fact.
Yeah.
Because this makes me angry. So, and the guy that shot up FSU at Florida State University and killed 2 and injured 6,
Right.
he's now out of the hospital. Police, so apparently they shot him in the face, which
That's
whatever.
good. Not a problem.
So yesterday he had his court appearance finally, I guess, but he was denied bond.
Good.
The judge found him indigent, so he gets a public defender, and he was
Of course.
appointed one.
Of course.
Give
But
him
he's
Bubba.
not being held in Leon County because his stepmother is a deputy there, so they got him in Wakulla County.
Mhm.
And
Send him to Polk County. It's not that far.
yeah, so for that reason, because I guess they're saying it's like a conflict.
Well, yeah, it would be. If something happened,
yeah.
it would be.
So, but he had multiple surgery, and I wondered why the photo they showed of him, one side of his face looked swollen, but then as I read it, said he was shot in the face by the officer, so that explains why.
Mhm.
So he's at the
Should've aimed a
Wakulla
little-
County Detention Facility now,
Should have
which
aimed,
is
should have
protocol.
aimed a little closer to the center.
Yeah, well, I don't know what happened with that, but
You missed.
and they're saying they're looking at his past as partly reason, I guess, when he was 11 in 2015, his biological mom kidnapped him and took him to Norway. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but that's what
Excuse.
it's literally written in here is his checkered past. Well, it's not his fault he got kidnapped. I mean, I will say that. So
Mhm.
that's kind of odd.
Well, okay, if that caused them to go on a rampage and kill people,
Right.
Wrong.
Come on now.
any excuse.
Did you see the Menendez brothers?
Yeah, they're on their way.
Yes. Why are we wasting our resources on them?
And look, and there's a strong chance they may actually get
They're
out.
going to get out.
Yeah, I think the
I think they'll
judge
get
has
out.
recommended another 50 years with the possibility of
With
parole, which
eligible for
means
parole,
it won't be much longer and they'll be
because
Okay.
they've been in 35 years.
and we'll have to do this again.
Here's the thing, y'all. How many times have I told you that BS, like the great state of North Carolina, will say, "Oh, I've given him life without parole. There's no way he'll ever get out." Wrong.
I agree.
There's no
I
way
agree
he will
with you.
get out until the legislature comes
Yep.
into session
And they
says-
change it.
and they say
Mhm.
life without parole.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's horrendous.
Yeah.
We need to change that.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. Menendez, welcome back to
It's all
society.
political.
That is a shame,
It's
too.
Okay,
Oh,
let's talk about
okay.
this Air Force One.
Yeah, I don't quite
The new-
understand it, but
I
Yes.
don't understand it, but let me tell you what I'm gathering maybe from this. Qatari, the big royal
they got
family,
all the money.
they
Yeah.
got all the money that Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia will let them keep.
Yeah.
The royal family says they're going to give a $400 million jet to be used as Air Force One, to be refurbished and used as Air Force One,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because the president stopped over there and said, "Hey, how you doing? I need an airplane." No, he
God,
did not stop and need an airplane.
Kelly, we need to book a
I
ticket.
know.
The trip, paid for by the U.S. Qatar Business Council, involved 4 House Democrats and 1 Republican who went to Qatar back in 2021. There's one of those people, raising Cain with him, is a Democrat. Well, one of those Democrats went to Qatar in 2021. He was one of 4 people, 2 Democrats, during a trip paid for by the U.S. Qatar Business Council. During that trip, at least 2 of those Democrats participated in a sightseeing excursion via camelback for them and their family members, while the trade group that footed the bill for the Democratic excursion is not directly tied to the Qatari royal family. Everything there is tied to the royal family. Its work is as dedicated exclusively to enhancing the bilateral business relationship between the United States and Qatar. That was somebody's BS statement. Then we get this shirtless Democrat raising Cain with the president for accepting this gift. While $84,621.59 trip paid for by the U.S. Qatar Business Council to the 4 Seasons in Doha in 2021. That's just to the 4 Seasons. $84,000 to the 4 Seasons for this delegation of Americans to show up there, of representatives. Senator Ruben Gallego, a Democrat out of Arizona, was one of them. He's the one that's leading the charge against blasting Trump for this jet. He accused Trump of engaging in a pay-to-play scheme and selling out U.S. policy. At the time of the trip, back in 2021, he was a congressman representing Arizona's 7th district.
I have.
Gallego's outrage, they're saying, shirtless, riding camels in Qatar, all paid for by a special interest group. The picture of him, Gallego, alongside Democratic California Representative Eric Swalwell, we remember him, sitting on camels, shirtless and smiling, as they participated in an excursion through the desert with their wives during the wives were not shirtless, during their 2021 trip to Qatar, funded by the U.S. Qatar Business Council. He was a prominent member at that time of the House Intelligence Committee, which he was later removed from. You got to remember who this guy is as soon as I tell you more. He was kicked off of the House Intelligence Committee after it was discovered he had a romantic tryst with a Chinese Communist Party spy.
Oh,
remember him now?
Yeah, I don't remember his name. Tell me. I know it was.
Yeah.
As soon as you say it, I'll remember.
Gallagher was his name. He got caught with his hands in the cookie jar.
So to say, no pun intended.
No pun intended. He was caught and was kicked off. And he is the one calling the kettle black. Son.
We see it every day.
No wonder our Congress has such a low approval rating. Lower than the courts, lower than everybody. If a president the Congress in general, overall, has an approval rating lower than Joe Biden did at the bottom. You understand?
Democratic Senator, did you see that? Ed Markey of Massachusetts said that he's going to turn Air Force One into Bribe Force One.
Oh, good for him. Whatever. What if we can do for Qatar that is going to do anything that could be considered a bribe for whatever they would do? We can't give them anything. We can recognize them as a company. Qatar is one of those little countries that's richer than everybody there is richer than dirt, basically. They've got the royal family. Oh, my God. Royal, as in royal dollars.
Have you seen this Boeing 747?
Yeah.
It's like 2 floors in it. It's like a hotel.
That's what Air
it's
Force
beautiful.
One has,
I know, but they showed some pictures of the inside. Holy moly! But
Have you ever seen the pictures inside the real Air Force One?
yes, I've seen pictures.
Okay.
Yes, from what they
What
publish, they don't publish everything.
They won't do everything. You won't see the
But
gun
this
locker.
is it's state of the art. It's newer. It's state of the. Oh, what's your feeling on it? Do you think he should accept it?
Accept it and sell it. That's what I would do.
He said he's going to accept it. He wants to accept it, use it as Air Force One, which it would take them 9 months or more, 11 months to convert it.
Well, first
in
thing
order
that-
to use
the
it
first
as
thing they've
Air
got to
Force
do
One.
is go in there and pull all the panels off and look for bugs.
That's
You
what I'm
understand
saying.
that?
And
Then
they've
they're
got to
gonna
make it.
They're going to have to take out all navigation equipment. They're going to have to remove everything electronic on that thing and put new stuff on. If it's to be used as Air Force One, it
Why
will
not?
not resemble anything that it is there now except a shell of an airplane with a motor, and they will probably replace the motors.
Why don't we
the
take
engines.
it and just use it for those flights, those congressmen who think they have to go to some foreign country to
Give it
make
to-
fools out
just-
of
just
themselves?
give it
Use
to
it
the
for them.
Give it to the Obamas. They can't take a vacation without something like that. Mrs. Obama can't anyway.
And Trump wants to paint it red, white, and blue.
You haven't heard of Mrs. Obama going anywhere lately since she was no longer in office and traveling off our dime, have you?
No,
Nope.
but somebody did an interview with her the other day, and it was very unflattering.
Somebody says she
I'm
wants to
like,
run for president.
No, somebody
she's
said
hinted at it.
it's because of her choice of words that people were making it out to be something it was not. But when she was talking about transgendering into a new phase of life, I do not believe she was talking about transgendering into a male.
I don't know. I don't
And
care.
it went viral, and I'm like, oh, y'all people just let things
I don't
alone.
care whether you're gay. I don't care whether
don't
you're
care.
transgender. I don't think transgenders, males who have become women,
Mhm.
or think they have, I do not think that they should ever be allowed to play in women's
Right.
sports. Okay. That's my only thing there. But that's not okay that I'm anti-transgender. Do what you want to do. I don't
Right.
care. But I don't think that they should be able to compete in women's sports any more than I think that a weak, let's just put it this way. How about a weakling male? Some guy who can't cut the mustard on the man's team. Should he, just because he can't cut the mustard there, should he be allowed to play women's sports? No, that's belittling the women to do that. That's belittling the female sports.
And
Nor
vice
should I
versa,
think
yes.
that a muscle-bound female. I don't think that anybody should, and who is a woman should be able to compete in men's only sports. I just don't think so. Whether they got more muscles than the men, whether they can run faster, leap taller buildings, I don't care. That's not the point. It's a man's sport or it's a woman's sport. If the transgenders want a sport, well, guess what? Set up a league, do your own.
Well, my
And
opinion.
forbid anybody you don't want to be in it.
My opinion is just say thank you very much and just don't take the jet. I mean, it's just going to cause so many issues.
I thank you, but
My
it's going
opinion,
to cost us too much money to do it. If we want to do it, we will get an American made, which it is, but we will get an American made and buy a new plane
Would they?
from a U.S. company
I agree. And
Well, don't they
with a
already
warranty.
have-
well, how do we know that this isn't outfitted with like spy
Oh,
equipment?
well, I've
Mhm.
already said we take care
Yeah.
of that.
It's going to cost millions to convert it. Well, you know what?
Well, what's the point of
Isn't-
offering it?
Isn't
It's-
the Air Force right now building another Air Force?
They're always
I believe
building
there's
another
one
one.
under construction right now.
They're super fancy.
Oh, it's a beautiful plane.
Yeah.
But you know what?
So what?
Say thank you and move on.
Does it get us from
Let's
point A
move
to
on.
point B with all the stuff that we got to have on board? Yeah, it could once it's
I don't
retrofitted.
agree with taking it because
But
I
don't
think we'll
do it.
spend more money
Don't
just to
do
get it.
Yeah.
And then use it for 4 years, then donate it to the Trump Library. What's it going to
No, we don't want that.
sit in the parking lot?
He's got his own
How,
plane.
is the parking lot even big enough? I mean, those things are huge.
He's
Well,
got
this
his
is 747.
He's got his own blasted airplane.
Fancy.
Leave him alone. Leave us
Charlie coming
alone.
back.
A fancy airplane.
I mean, it's nice. Hey, Kelly and I go to Qatar and see
Brown's
what we
House of
can
Ill
do.
Repute. Could I help you?
Hey, Charlie.
Hello.
Hey, I will never understand why you guys always assume it's me.
Because you're the only. I
Because
already
you
told
take
you.
a pause,
No.
and I hear you breathing.
That's
we
not
have
true.
you flagged.
Charlie,
Let's just
I
tell
will
the
tell you
truth.
why. We have caller ID, and you are the only person of all of our callers that shows up as unknown. That's how we know it's you. Everybody else has a name or a
Kelly,
number. Yeah,
Kelly, can I say something to you, Kelly?
go for it.
I love you.
I trust you. But
Yes.
with that, let me ask you guys a question.
Yes.
Do you just accept people of who they are? Like if you meet someone, you have an initial impression of them, you just say, hey, this is who this person is. Here's what I'm getting at. Can you trust Saudi Arabia?
No.
I wouldn't.
Where did all those? First of all, where did Osama bin Laden come from?
Yeah.
He
That's
came
true.
from
Was
Saudi.
it
He
Saudi
did.
Arabia?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Where did, and why didn't they knew how bad of an individual he was way back when, way before all of this happened.
Yeah.
What did they do about it? Nothing, honey.
That's true.
I'm
That's a true
sorry.
statement.
If we had a homegrown Osama bin Laden here that we found out and knew who he was, he would be dealt with.
Well, Timothy McVeigh's the closest, I guess.
Yeah, well,
we dealt with him quickly.
Once he got identified, we
Yeah,
did.
that's true. Yeah.
Mm.
No, I wouldn't trust Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, not at all.
No, never.
No, I posted something on, I'm looking for it right now on, hey, do you guys still say Twitter or do you say X?
I'm so used to it now by X. I say
I
X.
say Twitter, but
I say anti-social media.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
get
on
it
it
right.
every day.
Yeah, Lee's on it. I'm not.
I'm on it every.
I'm
Hey,
not.
let me check and see what's going on this
Oh.
week.
Yeah, I have an account on, I think you guys would get a kick out of my, account. It's
Is it under your real name?
Look at it, I'm like,
What is
What's it
under?
under? Lee's writing it down. What's it under? Because she's writing right now.
everything. Mine is death to pedophiles, death to traitors, death to groomers. It's all over the place. But I get lots of first of all, it doesn't matter how many comments I get. But I posted something earlier
Okay.
about I'm looking for it right now, but I can't find it. You know, I don't know what goes on in Saudi Arabia, but my gut says that they're very strict when it comes to certain religions, certain laws, certain sexuality, certain morals, certain values. And I think they'll maybe like slice your head off or throw you off a building
Or flog you.
if you don't adhere. What's that?
Or flog you. Don't they flog?
Yeah. I don't know. Listen, I don't know. I just don't trust
I do
them.
know
I
that-
don't know with Trump with the whole.
I do know that they like goats.
Well, no, but the whole plane thing. Listen,
That's from Qatar.
I would assume that you.
The plane is from
No,
Qatar,
okay,
not
so you
Saudi
guys-
Arabia.
Yeah, but why would we take a plane
I wouldn't.
from them?
I wouldn't.
How do we know?
I wouldn't even get behind a wheel and fly it here. I wouldn't trust them.
Charlie, on your death to pedophiles
I know.
profile, is there a picture
Of a guy
What's that?
holding a gun.
Say it again.
on your death to pedophiles X account? Is it a guy holding a gun,
Along a rifle.
or like a sunset in the background?
Well, who's asking me that question?
Kelly,
Kelly.
I just followed you.
Lee's following somebody, but I'm trying to make sure it's Charlie before I hit follow. There's a picture.
Well, no. You guys don't know what my account is. No. I don't think you do. I don't.
Well,
think
we're looking at this says death to pedophiles at death, the number 2 pedophile. There's a profile picture of a guy holding a gun with like a sunset in the background.
No,
Before I
that's
get,
not me. No,
Okay.
that's me. No, that's me. No,
That's
that's
not-
not. No.
then I'm not.
No,
following
because
that
there's
one.
not been any activity on that
I'm
one.
very cautious on how I word things. I have the American Eagle. And no, that's
I'll
not me.
find him.
The way that I word things, the government's not going to come after me. They're going to say, you know what? This guy makes a lot of sense. He was probably abused.
Oh, no, it's not
He
that one.
wishes death. No, that's not me. No. But no, that's not me.
No,
Okay.
okay. There's a dog and a whatever. Okay, then I'm not following.
You
it.
said you
Yeah, I don't
posted
know
just
if
a few minutes ago?
Lee's over here
What's that?
looking. I'm trying to get into my.
Oh, they're
account.
trying to find out whether they can look at you on
Oh,
X.
quit telling them what we're doing.
I'll tell him. Charlie knows I'll tell
You're
him.
telling him yourself.
We tell
what
him
you're
I
doing.
after
found
we
some
get
Great
it.
Pyrenees. I done found some
Is Kelly
animals.
there? Is Kelly there?
I'm
Yeah.
right
Is Kelly
here.
there?
I'm right here. Yeah.
No, Kelly, no, first, here. Listen, this is something I'm going to be very cautious on how I say this. Kelly knows who I am,
Uh-huh.
so let's leave it at that.
She
Well,
can't.
I
She
trust
can't.
her.
She
She
can't
can't
tell
I
tell
us.
can't
us
tell
that we
anybody
do
nor
not
would I
ask
ever.
her.
Never, and I would never. So that's between me
What's
and you, buddy. Just me and you.
after the show, Lee, would you go get the waterboarding gear ready?
You can waterboard me all you
No,
want.
I respect the fact that she said,
Charlie, I don't care who you are. If I wanted to know who you are, trust me, and trust me, if I wanted to know who you were, Charlie, Kelly will probably tell you that I could find out.
not through Kelly though.
Not through Kelly.
We'll find out
Not
through
through
me.
Kelly, but I can find out.
I'll go to my grave with that information.
No, I think you would
That's a little
protect me.
rational.
Oh, 100% will I
Here's
protect you. Yep, 100%.
Okay, so listen, hey guys, let's change the subject real quick. With the whole Saudi Arabia thing with the airplane, yeah, I don't, listen, I think it's kind of weird that he is taking this plane. I don't get it. He's like, it's a $400 million palace in the sky. Why is he taking it? And I'm super conservative. But why would he take this plane?
I don't know. I wouldn't, but
So you guys, this is a great thing. Like if liberals were listening to this conversation, they would say, you know what? Yeah, I don't get it. A part of me thinks there's something in this plane that's not good. But I'm not. I don't get it. Why would he take this plane? He doesn't need the money.
I agree with that.
He doesn't need the plane.
I agree. Charlie's not wrong.
Too much controversy. I'd just leave it out. Leave it alone.
It's just weird. Why is he taking this $400 million plane?
Okay.
$400 million is nothing to Trump. Okay, go ahead.
I got to go to work. All right, Charlie, I have to go.
Okay,
Rachel's on
well,
here.
Charlie, let me just ask you one
All right,
question.
okay.
Just as a Southerner, okay, and Trump is not, but as a Southerner, if somebody offers me something, and not an airplane, not a $400 million or anything, but if they offer me something that I probably say, well, I really don't want that. I don't need it. And I just don't like the idea of you giving it to me. I would probably have to say, oh my God, am I going to offend this person if I say no? That's one of the things that I would look at.
That. Hey, Lee, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
In your opinion, should he have taken that plane?
Well, he's not taken it yet, but in my opinion, I would say no, only because it opens up that fine line between accepting gifts from other countries that could potentially be considered a bribe. Plus, if you got the plane, in order to use it for Air Force One, we're going to have to spend millions of dollars converting it, and a lot of
And
time.
it's a used plane.
and for him to use it for a couple of years, then donate it to a library, I just let it go. I mean, it's very gracious, but
we don't need $400 million from Saudi Arabia. We're fine. We're good.
I agree
I
with
don't
you
get it.
exactly.
All right, to make it clear
I
to
don't
the
get
listeners out there too, it is not Saudi Arabia that is offering this airplane. It's Qatar, a different country.
Right.
But just to make sure nobody gets me confused and come jump at me later
I just
saying I
don't
didn't say
think we
something.
need to even go there with it.
No, we don't need the plane. It's not worth the effort.
Was the plane built by Boeing?
Yeah.
It's a Boeing 747.
Yeah, the whole thing is just confusing. I don't get it. It's just like Trump.
I like that.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, $400 million means nothing to Trump or Elon Musk. That's like you and I losing $8, at
Pretty
the
much.
store.
Yeah, pretty much. No.
Yeah, I mean, I think
right,
it's
you
a
guys
gracious
have a good
gift.
Thank you,
but-
Charlie. Have a good one. Good questions. Good talk.
Good question, yes.
Bottom line is I wouldn't take it, but I'm not Donald Trump. And Trump's only thing that he said here is the fact that the Defense Department is getting the free gift, free of charge, of a 747 aircraft to replace the 40-year-old Air Force One temporarily in a very public and transparent transaction. So bothers the crooked Democrats that they insist we pay top dollar for the plane. You know what?
Fine
It's
line.
not top dollar for this plane, because that plane, if it costs $400 million new, it ain't worth $400 million. It's a used airplane. I don't even know how it was.
Well,
They've been working to get a new Air Force One. It's 40 years old.
right.
It needs to be replaced. The engines have been replaced. Every bolt on that airplane has been replaced. But at some point in time, it's no longer worth repairing. The problem gets to be, what do you do with it? Okay, park it on the White House lawn, take everything out of it that's classified or sensitive. Yeah, you can do that. Where are you going to put it? I don't want it. Scrap it.
Well, my
Put it in the
understanding is right
boneyard.
now they're building a new Air Force One. Whether that's
They
true or
are
not, I don't
building
know.
one. They've
but-
got one.
You get a plane like this
It's
from
been
a foreign
delayed.
country.
It's been delayed. It's not in progress
Right.
right now. You had the pandemic going on. You had all that
Right.
stuff set
Well-
back. And then Biden, of course, he didn't push through, didn't continue with it. And it just wasn't happening. I'm sure that one's going to be built, but it won't be ready by the time Trump's out of office. The next president or the president
What's wrong
after
with the
that
one
will
we
get it.
have now? We have two
It's
right
40.
now.
It's 40. Well, we don't have one.
No, we have Air Force One, Air Force Two.
We have
do.
two
We have
planes.
two.
One of them is either one of them will be designated as Air Force One or Two.
Right, depending on which one they use for
or
the day.
whoever's on board. Other than that, it's a regular airplane.
Well, the thing about it is,
But it's
I
40
just
years
think-
old. The primary one is 40 years old. Let's put it this way. Let's do what everybody out there is going to do. If that airplane takes off and it loses 3 engines and it crashes, what are y'all going to do and scream and holler about?
Huh?
There you go. You should have replaced the plane.
well, yeah,
Not
I
with this
mean,
one. I'm not talking about with this. Yes, it needs to
Right.
be replaced.
I agree with you 100%. I just think accepting a gift like this, as nice as it is, from a foreign country, just kind of crosses that
Yeah.
line a little bit
Well,
and opens it up.
Saudi Arabia, I would consider more of an enemy than I consider Qatar, but I don't consider Qatar a friend either.
How about the senator that's going to prison along with his wife for accepting gifts?
Goodbye.
We going to excuse him?
Well, they took it for their own personal use.
Yeah,
All right, we don't know we got a call, but we got to go.
we got to go.
We're late. We will
late.
see you tomorrow morning
Charlie,
at 7
call back
o'clock. At 7 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. That's
Yes.
4 o'clock California time, right? 3 hours. All right, we will see you in the morning. Have a great rest of your day. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good one. There's always a
Yeah.
chance of showers, but none are guaranteed. None are on the radar. You're live and local, real talk. We're always awake, never woke. We'll see you in the morning.